Former President Donald Trump has just touched down in New York as he gears up to become the first US president in history to face criminal charges. Joining us to discuss today's headlines is Minister for Government Services and the NDIS, Bill Shorten, and 4BC's Neil Breen. Good morning to you both. Bill, this is an historic moment for the US. All eyes are watching Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's amazing footage, and you know, at one level, Australia doesn't comment about the legal investigations in America, but at a personal level, I think it's in equal parts both a tragedy and scary. I mean, it shows that in America the institutions are hanging in there. No one's above the law, even ex-presidents, and Mr. Trump is entitled to the presumption of innocence. But at another level, though, I think this is it's really gravely concerning. It's a tragedy that this massive division's going on in America right before our eyes, because the rest of the world needs a strong and united America. I
mean, in true Trump style, Bill, he's really galvanised the base. He's absolutely weaponised this. There are detractors who say, indeed, the justice system has been weaponised by the Democrats, but actually there's no one who sells a situation like this better than Trump, right?
Yeah, again, this is a personal observation, but the brand of politics which has been Trump has been a race to the bottom. He's been using some pretty inflammatory language lately, and that doesn't always make it through to our immediate media headlines. I mean, he says that 2024 is the final battle. That was also, this guy doesn't use language by accident. That was also the language they used at the Waco cult. This is only one of 4 sets of indictments which are being prepared against him. But despite all of that, there's literally tens of millions of people who voted for him twice and want to vote for him again. And the Trump brand of politics is sometimes saying, oh, well, that's technically against the law, but, you know, who cares? So it is a worry, but let's hope American institutions are stronger than the individuals, and we can only have our fingers crossed that peace is a civilised approach is possible, but it looks pretty dramatic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. Anything that follows Trump does. Now, Neil, we still don't know the exact charges yet. They're still sealed before he appears tomorrow. What do you think this will do for his 2024 campaign? Already the base is pitching in.
Well, it'll boost amongst those people that Bill's talking about, those people that Trump has somehow divided away from the rest of America, for sure. And then maybe the publicity drags others in. But Bill's 100% correct. This is a watershed moment for the United States, and never has the United States been divided like this, probably since the Civil War. It's absolutely unbelievable to watch. But Sarah and Bill, I can't tell you, like I sit here and do this radio show, and in my 35 years in the media, I've never ever dealt with a more divisive character. If I simply do a news story about Donald Trump and I say to everyone, don't write to me, I'm just letting you know what the grand jury's done with Donald Trump, I just get hate mail, like just carving me to pieces that I have no idea what I'm talking about, and you're part of the conspiracy. He just sends people troppo.
Incredibly right, even here in Australia.
Yeah, even here he does. He sends people on both sides of him absolutely crazy. Whenever I hear at work I've got to do a Trump story, I say to the staff, I said, oh, no, not a Trump story. I said, I'm just going to cop
Not
it
again. It's hard to know which way to turn, right? This is the thing. Because this is what he does. He divides people.
He
does. He's the master of it.
I read an article somewhere saying that he took a great interest in the wrestling franchises in the 2000s, but somehow he does seem to talk as if he's commentating on the wrestling, and, you know, that fires the mob up one side against the other. Anyway, let's hope that the American institutions are stronger. I should again say he's entitled to a presumption of not guilty, and let's hope that no one's above the law and that people can respect the system. But they're amazing scenes. All of the New York police have been told to wear their full uniform today.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big day unfolding in the US, that's for sure.
Welcome back to the show. Coming up to 1:30. The eyes of the world are right now firmly fixed on New York City. Former US President Donald Trump arriving at Trump Tower a short time ago, waving to his supporters as he prepares for his historic arraignment.
Let's bring in US correspondent Jonathan Kersley, who has been following the president for days from outside his residence in Mar-a-Lago. Jono, good morning. He's currently holed up inside the well-known building, but before that, he was where you are.
Yeah, he was. He started his day here at Mar-a-Lago, making his way out. He said it would be about midday, and it was. He left in a convoy of around about 7 or 8 black SUVs as they made their way up the boulevard here for around about 10-minute drive to the airport, passing handfuls, dozens of protesters who were gathered in small congregations right along this route. At various points, the former president did slow down. He did wave at the window, gave people the thumbs up as he made his way into the airport and then took off just before 1 o'clock local time here, making his way to New York. This has been one of the most watched journeys in America that you could ever imagine. Tracked all the way to the airport, his plane then tracked to New York, where he touched down at LaGuardia. Then that 45-minute drive or so into Trump Tower at Fifth Avenue in New York, the building that bears his name, and tonight it is where he will be holed up, likely to be discussing tomorrow's events at a New York court with his lawyers. He will rest inside Trump Tower before making his way to the Lower Manhattan courthouse tomorrow morning. That is where he will hand himself in to the district attorney. Effectively, he is voluntarily handing himself in for arrest. They will go through the booking process. There could, might not be, we don't know yet whether there will be a mugshot. And then he will be taken in before a judge. Unprecedented scenes in America, because never before, and we've spoken about this many times over the course of the last week or so, has an American president, present or former, been put before a court on criminal charges. So this is history in the making. As you've heard our colleague Alison Petrowski doing a wonderful job covering it from outside the New York courthouse this morning, where the action now focuses on, because the attention is all on Donald Trump. And really, that is the way Donald Trump likes it. He has painted himself as the victim all through this investigation over allegations of hush money payments to former adult film star Stormy Daniels. Right over the course of even up to yesterday, portraying himself as the victim, trying to put himself in the limelight as the one that is being hard done by. So tomorrow we will learn more about the case that the district attorney is going to put before the judge. We will learn what charges Donald Trump is likely to be facing, and then it will start the legal process. So really, as far as Donald Trump is concerned, this is just the beginning. Guys, remember too, there are three other serious criminal investigations all circling around the former president. Each of those criminally more significant than the one that he is looking at right now. But history will be made tomorrow, and the eyes of the world will be watching Donald Trump go into court.
Jono, thank you.
Well, there could be good news for homeowners today. Experts predicting the RBA may keep interest rates where they are, holding off from making an 11th consecutive rise. Nine Finance reporter Chris Kohler joins us now. Chris, good morning to you. How likely are they to hold?
Good morning, Brooke. Well, this is the best chance that we've had in almost a year. I mean, it could still certainly go either way. And economists who forecast this sort of thing, they are split. We've got about half predicting another interest rate hike of 25 basis points or 0.25%. And then the other half are saying that it's going to stay put where it is at 3.6%. That said, we've got the market that is predicting a pause today. So really, on balance, if you had to tip something, you'd probably be going with a pause for the first time in almost a year, as I said.
If they do raise the rates, what sort of pressure does this put on homeowners?
Well, that's unfortunate. It would be an 11th hike in a row. You'd see that incremental increase in how much people are paying. You can see there if it's $500,000, it's another $78. And really, it's all about that combination now. Over $1,000 extra on top of what they were already paying a year ago. And the numbers just get higher and higher. If your loan is $750,000, well, all of a sudden you're having to find almost $1,600 extra per month. And if it's $1 million, we know a lot of people have those big $1 million loans, well, you're having to find an extra $2,117 on top of what you were already paying this time last year. But certainly today is about the opportunity, perhaps, of a pause in all that bad news, and maybe they're going to keep it on hold at 3.6% today at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
And we'll all be watching very closely. Thanks, Chris.
All right, well, TikTok has been banned on all government devices. Let's bring in General Manager of TikTok Australia and New Zealand, Lee Hunter. Thanks for your time, Lee. Now, we are still waiting for that confirmation. Do you know any more?
We don't, but I think the first thing to say is Aussies are absolutely safe on TikTok. We care deeply. We're absolutely focused on their privacy and security. But at the moment, we don't know what's happening. We're finding out about this through the media. We've had repeated attempts to try and meet with government about this, but unfortunately, it's been very disappointing what's happening so far.
You do keep trying to reassure the Australian public that they are safe, but we all know that obviously the Chinese government, any Chinese company, is beholden to the Chinese government, and if they want that data, they can grab it.
Well, we have a few issues with that being proposed, but the main thing that's happening here is these actions are being undertaken without any facts, without any evidence to support the fact that we're a national security risk in any way. The only thing we can point to is what's happening is being driven by politics and based on our country of origin. There are no facts or evidence to support any of this. That's why we want to meet with the government.
But like I said, we do know that the Chinese government owns any kind of data that Chinese companies have.
Well, look, if that's the concern of the government, then they should also be concerned about the telecommunications companies, the healthcare companies, the banks that are Australian that also have employees based in China. If we're being singled out purely because of our country of origin, I think there are big questions to be asked around that, and we don't think it's fair, not to us or the millions of Australians that love TikTok.
Well, there are around 8 million Australians who are on TikTok. I mean, the confusion that surrounds this is something that we need to eradicate straight away. I mean, you'd like to have clarity, wouldn't you?
We'd love to have clarity, and not just for us, but again for those millions of Aussies and the hundreds of thousands of small businesses that rely on TikTok to grow their businesses. We're a really important part of Australian culture now and the economy too. I think we deserve to have that dialogue with the government about what's happening.
It's hard to know whether the horse has bolted when it comes to this and if data has already been mined. What do you think this will mean if TikTok is wiped from government devices to begin with? It could expand, right?
Well, I think the first thing is if we're being singled out purely because of our country of origin, I think there are big questions to be asked around that. But if we're, what's happening here? We don't know the detail. Are government employees now going to be still able to use their their Twitter, their Facebook, go on dating apps? I mean, we just don't have the detail at the moment. We think it's quite unfair and we want to have that meeting with them.
What do you think will happen, though, to those users of TikTok now? They'll go elsewhere? You'll lose your stronghold?
No, this is just with government devices. So, again, to be clear, for Australians out there, the millions of Australians that love and use TikTok, they're absolutely safe on our platform. That's our #1 priority. Look, we're still growing. We know that those users love and trust us, but there's something different happening with government that we really want to meet with them and understand more about.
It sounds like time is ticking, though, on the government devices at least. Lee, thanks so much for your time. Carl.
Victoria Police are launching a special operation to track down the Geelong Night Stalker. The man is believed to be behind attempted break-ins and trespassing incidents across multiple homes. For more, we're joined by Detective Acting Senior Sergeant Gavin Mullins in Geelong. Detective, thanks for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. I know how busy you are. What is the Geelong Night Stalker actually doing at the moment?
Well, Carl, we've been investigating this matter since early February this year, and it involves a male who's been approaching a number of houses in the Geelong, Torquay and Werribee areas. He approaches these houses and attempts to open the front doors, generally by manipulating locks. We know that he's got entry to 2 houses where he's spent a short amount of time before leaving, but we're obviously really concerned. We don't understand his motivation. He's not stealing or damaging any property inside. He's not contacting anyone inside. So that's pretty much the essence of what we're doing at the moment.
I tell you what, you've got a pretty good facial on him. Any leads as to his identity?
Yeah, we have got one good photo that we've imaged that we've been able to take from CCTV from an incident in Werribee. We've circulated that, and at this stage we're working through a lot of intelligence and information that we're receiving from the public. But as the more information we can get, we haven't had anything solid just at the moment, but the more information we can get from members of the public, the better chance we have of solving this.
It's so creepy. What do we think the motivations are, and what are the potential charges?
Well, that's one of the reasons that we're really concerned about this. We don't understand what his motivations are. As I said, he hasn't made any contact with people, but we certainly don't want him to sort of increase in his behaviour and for it to advance onto anything else. So the charges we'd be looking at attempted aggravated burglary charges and multiple trespass charges at this stage.
You've got a special operation ramping up the investigation. I guess a number of residents are more than a little concerned about how this guy makes them feel coming to their front doors in the dead of the night. What's your advice to them?
Yeah, we do have a special operation, an investigation being conducted, and our advice to the members of the public is that if you just securely lock your doors, make sure they are perhaps double locked, but having safety in mind that you can get out of the house if you need to. Generally, he's not going to be able to breach that. He's not forcing entry, by breaking windows or making himself obvious in any way. So, just a few simple things, as with most crime prevention things, just locking your doors and securing your windows will prevent this.
All right, Detective, appreciate your time. Just on a lighter note, have you launched any investigation into how Geelong's been so miserable in the start of this season?
Yeah, I don't follow it very closely, but I have noticed a few glum faces around the office, so yeah, I'm just keeping quiet at the moment.
You stay quiet, stay on the job, and if anyone's got any information, you know who to call. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, mate. Well, the collapse of Victorian home builder Porter Davis has gone from bad to worse, unfortunately. Customers now reporting their unfinished homes have been trashed, allegedly by disgruntled tradies, with one house in Melbourne even going up in flames. Police now investigating how the blaze started.
Some are taking expensive measures to protect their properties, including changing the locks and putting up fences. Sandra Chavan is one of those customers, and she joins us now from her newly finished home in Melbourne. Sandra, these are absolutely devastating times, what we're seeing happen to these properties. What was going through your head when you heard the news on Friday?
Oh, we were devastated. Firstly, because we weren't sure what was going to happen to us, and we felt sorry for everyone else, as well as for tradies who have also got families to support and put food on the table. Yeah, we don't know where we're going to go from here at this point.
I just I can't fathom the tremendous anxiousness and uncertainty you must be feeling.
Yeah, we're not sleeping well. We are anxious. We've not been given a lot of information. We're hoping today, after the meeting that's happening with the liquidators, we'll know more. But until that point, we're sort of being left in the dark.
Just this latest news overnight, this fire, was that far from you?
No, we're on the other side of the city.
Okay. And when you hear that, though, even though it's not in your neck of the woods, it's someone else's house, it's someone else's real worry this morning, how does that all kind of make you feel?
Very anxious. We're going to start staying out here at night time now, and we're setting up security inside and outside the property.
Jeez.
So
that's a further worry.
That's going to be an added expense. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you're trying to build your dream home and then you've got to try and add all these expenses to it. I mean, it seems so misguided as well, this action.
Yes, it is. It's unfair, and it's been pointed at the wrong people, I think. We as homeowners or home builders have been paying all our payments up front, so everything that is in this house here and other people's homes all been paid for. It's just that the payments haven't been handed on to the right people.
Yeah.
I mean, you're close to retirement, you and your husband. What happens from today on?
We just take each day as it comes, and hopefully we can get the house finished. We don't know. We have no idea what's going to happen. So.
And you've got to then get kind of builders. You've got to kind of, get all of the contractors. You've got to start again when a lot of people are in the same boat.
That's true. We're also hoping that comes out of this meeting that they will be able to supply a builder for us. I don't think the builder-owner option is for us at this point. So, yeah, we're just a little unsure as to what's going to happen.
Well, there is a meeting with liquidators tomorrow, so hopefully that does shed some light and perhaps offer you a resolution. Oh, sorry, today, rather.
Yeah, today. Yeah. And that's what we're hoping for, is some sort of a solution or a resolution of some sorts.
Look, it's an awful situation. We've been really feeling what you're going through all morning, and that fire on the other side of town as well. It's just a terrible situation. Please let us know how you go. There are a lot of you in the same boat this morning, and we couldn't feel more keenly for you. Yeah,
there's a lot worse off than us as well, so we're fortunate that we're almost close to completion, but there's a lot that are not.
Oh.
And it's wrecked a whole lot of lives.
Yeah, it sure
has.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad considering. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we are
feeling
thinking
angry,
of you.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those emotions.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being with us, and best of luck, and we'll follow that story all the way through.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness. Carl?
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?